Hello and welcome back. Today I want to show you all the books that I've acquired over the last few months. I am really careful when it comes to buying books, so the great thing about this haul is that I've read basically everything that I'm going to show you today, which means that this book haul is pretty much just one giant recommendations video. So let's jump in. First, I want to show you the 2 advanced reader copies that I've received from publishers. But before doing that, I feel the need to give a bit of a disclaimer that occasionally, yes, I do request books from publishers. The biggest reason for that is that I really like to talk about new releases, particularly mysteries and thrillers that are big and buzzy, so that I can weigh in and give you opinions. But I have a limited budget and a lot of times I can't always get them from my library. So requesting books from publishers is a really nice way for me to be able to do that. Now back to the advanced reader copies. I received Follow Me Down by Sherry Smith from Forge. This is a mystery about a man who is a teacher at a school and he has gone missing. At the same time, one of his students has just been recently found murdered and he is highly suspected of being her killer. The story is told from the sister's perspective, who goes back to her hometown in order to investigate and just try to figure out what happened to this girl and of course what happened to her brother as well. I ended up requesting this one after hearing about the synopsis and hearing it compared to Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, which always catches my attention. The marketing was a little bit off. I really would not compare this to Sharp Objects other than the general premise being similar, but it was still a really enjoyable mystery. I did a separate review on this one and I just thought it was a good solid mystery. The other advanced copy I have to show you is The Last Place You Look by Kristen Lepianka, and I requested this from Minotaur because I heard the synopsis involved a bisexual main character, a private investigator, and I was completely interested in finding out more about this book. I've said before that crime fiction is a very undiverse genre, so I was really looking to find a book that featured an LGBTQ character, and this one certainly delivered. I was really happy with this book. Again, I've done a separate review of this, so if you want more thoughts, I'll link you that way, but it involves a cold case. Years ago, this man was accused of murdering not only his girlfriend, but his girlfriend's family. Fast forward years, the girlfriend is possibly seen alive, and the sister of that person, who is now on death row awaiting execution, is trying to prove her brother's innocence by going to a private investigator, reopening the case. I love those elements of a cold case, and this book was very engaging. I read it very quickly and just found it a really engrossing mystery. So again, really recommend this one. Now the rest of the books I'm going to talk about are all ones I bought myself. And the first one being Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. This is an urban fantasy that I read years ago and really enjoyed. I honestly rarely enjoy urban fantasy, but this one just worked for me. This is about a world where werewolves exist. However, the main character is unique because she is the only female werewolf. Normally when females are bitten, they just die, but in this case she actually was able to go through the transformation and become a werewolf. It was sexy and fun and entertaining, and I just liked it a lot. So when I saw it for $2 at a used book sale, I decided to pick it up. So I would actually recommend this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. Next is a book that, no surprise, I had to pick up because I'm trying to buy all of my favorite books so that I can reread them as well as push them on my unwilling friends. And that book is Perfect Days by Rafael Montes, and this is a book I gushed about earlier this year. If you've been watching my channel, you know I love this book. It's about a young medical student who becomes obsessed with this young woman and ends up kidnapping her, and the story takes off from there. He is a very unlikable character. He is a bit of a sociopath, lacking emotion, and I just really love the story. It's short and concise, and I just could not stop turning the pages. I loved it. I wish I'd gotten the hardcover edition just because I really like the cover with the suitcase on it, but this one was available and cheaper, so this is what I picked up instead. And again, I just love it. I literally bought it and immediately handed it to a friend to read because I just want to keep pushing this on everyone and have more people read it because I really think it's underhyped. I have done a separate review on this, so you can check that out, but the short is that I really enjoyed it and would love to see more other people reading it. So go read it. That's basically all I gotta say. Next is a book I was really excited to find used because it's fairly underhyped and I've been meaning to get a copy of it for years and years now, but I finally found one, and that was The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. This is a book I would describe as either light horror or suspense. It's creepy, but in a very mild way. If you're used to straight up horror books, this one isn't going to scare the pants off of you, but it was still a really delicious, creepy read, and I just really enjoyed it. It's told over two perspectives, one being the present day where there's two sisters who come home to their remote cabin in the woods, and there's a blizzard going on and their mother is missing. They are trying to figure out what happened to her. And at the same time, the other timeline involves a woman trying to have a child, and they've had a lot of difficulty for years, her and her husband, and they finally have one, but then something happens to that daughter, and from there the woman is distraught and is trying her best to find a way to bring her daughter back to life. And the story is so gripping. It's not a story about motherhood and loss. It's really much creepier than that, and the way the creepiness is done just really worked for me. It was unique and interesting, and I just think that McMahon is a really creative writer. I really recommend this one. Again, super underhyped, so I'd love to see more people pick it up, and I'm just so happy to have a copy because I will definitely be rereading this one at some point. This next book I was super excited to see at a library book sale because I think I only bought it for 50 cents, and it's one of my all-time favorites, and that is The Other Typist by Suzanne Rindle. This is a historical book set in the 1920s, which is one of my favorite eras to read about. I just love the Prohibition, the flappers, all that great stuff, the speakeasies. And this book involves a young woman who works at a police precinct. It is her job to type up the confessions that they get from their suspects. Another woman comes to work at the precinct and she becomes obsessed with this new typist. And the story takes off from there. I just really enjoyed this one. I've said before that I love the writing. Suzanne Rindle is an amazing writer. I just completely connected with her style and just love this book. It's much slower paced than the books I normally read, but I found this one enticing and it just sucked me right in. It's a book where you're not entirely sure where it's going, what it's leading up to, and I just enjoyed every single minute of it. I just thought it was awesome, and I feel like this is, again, one of those books that just did not get enough attention when it came out, and I would love to change that. I have technically done a review of this one years ago, which I'm almost afraid to rewatch, but I'm still going to reluctantly link that down below and in the cards so that if you do want to hear more about this book, you can hear my thoughts on it. But please be kind because it's been a while since I've watched that video and it's probably pretty awkward, but I do recommend this one a lot. Finally, this last book you're going to hear about in my next reading wrap-up, and that is It by Stephen King. This is a book I got after posting my horror TBR video, and so many people said amazing things about this book, so I broke my rule and bought a book before reading it. I normally try to only buy my favorites, but I just had to get it, and honestly, because of the length, it was a book that I was pretty motivated to own so that I wasn't worried about having to renew a library request. And the movie's coming out, so I wanted to read it, and I was just getting really excited about it. And then I somehow managed to rope my real life friend Mark into buddy reading this with me, so that was really fun. I'm technically pre-filming this and we're still reading this as I'm talking about it, but I'm hoping by the time I get this edited we're going to be close to being done. I'm looking forward to getting to discuss it with Mark, and that's right, I'm calling you out by name in this video, Mark. We'll see if you actually watch any of my videos. Otherwise, I'm enjoying this. It's long, and I do find that I do lean towards liking shorter books because there's a lot going on in this book, but I'm going to save my final thoughts, so I'll tell you more about it once I'm all said and done. So those are all the books that I've acquired or bought in the last few months. As always, please let me know if you're planning on picking up any of the books I mentioned, especially the underhyped ones, because I'd really like to get more people on BookTube talking about these ones. Otherwise, please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will talk to you again soon in another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.